You've probably all seen a child in the park come up to a little creek, just walk right up to it, take a look, and back up a few steps, and then run forward to take a running leap across. Yay, success! You've seen this, yes? All right, good. All right, but what you probably haven't seen, or hopefully not, is that when that child backs up a few steps, a parent rushing in and saying, hey, get back up there, get back over there, you're backing away from that challenge. Doesn't happen, because in the case of a running leap, it's really clear the difference between backing up to take a jump and backing away in avoidance. Not so in other situations. And an example that I have was at the swimming pool. And I saw this little girl, tiny little girl, great big slide. She was excited about that. Climbed up the ladder, got right to the top, and froze. Just, right? And the parent came rushing in to coax her down. And it sounded like, you can do it. Just sit down there and just slide. Just put your feet down. You can do this. No, I'm sorry. You can't come back down the ladder. There's kids behind you. Right? Okay. And then the big one. It'll be fun. And you're talking to a child who's like terrified, right? It'll be fun. Child has nothing to do with this, climbs back down the ladder, and then heads straight to the baby slide. And the parent rushes in again, trying to coax the child back to that big slide, and saying things like, I'm sure you've said these things, I know I've said these things, right? Saying things like, that slide's too little for you. That's the baby slide. There's the big slide, that's the one you want. Look, there's kids going down it. Look, there's kids over there. Do you want to be the only kid who never goes down the big slide? I swear I've said the same things. So, all right, but I'm over here having a completely different experience of that moment. You know, the mother's very frustrated, marching away, and I'm sitting there just excited, in anticipation, because I'm watching for the running leap. And I know what the child does next is going to be that backing up part, where she gets exactly the skills and the confidence that she needs to take her running leap and go down that slide. And she does. She started going down the little slide, not just timidly, not like that, but like, feet first, and then face first, and then tummy, and then upside down, and like really, really exploring this little slide. And so what I know is that she's headed back there. And the other thing that she did along the way was she would stop and she would look at those kids coming down the big slide, right? Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm avoiding something, it looks kind of like this. Yeah, right? And here's this child like studying those children coming down the slide. And mom still thinks she's avoiding it, okay? Things that we miss. So, in a little while, the child heads back over to the big slide, goes up the ladder, and actually comes down successfully, right? Proud as she can be. Okay. This happens in other places as well. You can see this running leap. Homework is a big one. And my niece, who was 9 at the time, had a lot of homework, and it was really hard, and it took her forever, and she hated it. And she even told me that she was easily distracted, so it must have been really, really hard. All right, so I'm thinking, I got this running leap thing now, right? So I invited her over and said, well, why don't we just do homework at my house? Just come on over. So she did. I set up a couple of TV trays in the living room. She came in and sat down and started in on her work. And I started to point out little tiny successes, just little ones, to help build her confidence. Things like, well, you found the page, right? You finished that problem. Look at that. You got that one too. Little things like that. And still, after a few problems, her eyes popped off the page. Now see, this is my chance, right? So I get to say, look at that. Looks to me like you need a little break. Must be something you can do. And she's looking around. And I had a big exercise ball in the living room at that point. And I saw her look at it, and I said, whoa, you saw the ball. And she said, yeah, can I play on it? And I said, sure, you know what you need. And actually, I bet you can even figure out how many bounces you need to be able to come back and do the next problem. And she said, well, I hadn't thought about it that way before, right? So she picked 5. And she got up and went over and bounced the ball 5 times, stopped herself, came back to the couch, and went on with her work. And a little while later, she got to another problem, and her eyes popped off the page again. And that time I noticed that it was a little bit hard, so that's what I said. It looks like that problem was a little bit hard for you. Seems like you might need another break. And she's looking around going, yeah, can I play with that dollhouse over there? I said, sure, you can play with that dollhouse. You'll know how much playing you need to be able to come back and do the rest of the problems. And she did. She went over and she played a little bit, one little scenario pretty quick, came back, sat down, and started to work again. Right? So it went on like that. And we finished that night's homework quicker than usual. And then the next night she came back again. And that night we did it again. And that time she finished in half the time. And then the coolest thing happened. It was so wonderful. She looked up at me, and much to her surprise, she blurted out, "Homework's fun!" It was the cutest moment ever. And I thought, wow, that's so great. And that wasn't even the best. The best thing was, a while later, she came over to my house after a really hard day at school. And she collapsed in the chair. She gave a big sigh. And she said, "I just need to do something I'm good at." And I thought, how wise. Truly, how wise to know that. Right? All of our children are that wise. You can see the running leap even in babies when they play. I watched a little baby with a busy box, right? Push the button, the door opened. Push the button again, the door opened again. Push the button and the door opened. Went to the switch. Tried the switch. Not so good. Tried it, didn't work. Went back to the button. Yeah, push the button, door open. Push the button, the door open. This is working. Back to the switch. Until that child mastered the switch and went on to the rest. That's the backing up for the running leap of the switch, which was a little bit too hard. Went back and got that confidence and the skills that the child needed to come back to the challenge and feel like maybe she could succeed. All right. And you will also see this in games. And a great place to watch for this is magnetic darts. Right? When a child comes in the room to play magnetic darts, little target, they usually start back where they think that they should. And sometimes that's a little bit too far. And if they start back that far and start to get discouraged, and you give them permission to stand anywhere they want, that child will go right up to that target and throw some bullseyes. Just get those bullseyes, right? It's hilarious. But it doesn't last very long because it gets boring, right? Too easy is boring. So that child will automatically increase the challenge and find that place where they think they can succeed, but it's a little bit hard. And that's the sweet spot called fun, right? It's as though our kids are programmed to succeed, and I really believe they are. So next time you're watching a child take a challenge, I invite you to watch for the running leap. And you just might notice that all those things that you've learned about avoidance, sorry, she's holding my note card, about avoidance, procrastination, distraction, and backing away aren't there at all. And what's there instead is a child backing up to get the confidence and the skills that they need to run forward and take that running leap and succeed. And it happens much faster when you help. Thank you.